here. Yo, I respectfully disagree podcast. Got a quick little episode, late night. What's today? What, Wednesday? Wednesday night?
Wednesday the 5th,
Yeah. Got
March
Cory.
5th.
Got Cory with me.
Long time, my brother, long time since I've been able to grace your lovely platform and everything you've been doing, man.
Appreciate it. It's perfect timing too. It's March. Tournament's
March
right around the
Madness.
corner.
Hey, you know what's crazy? It's been about 3 years since I first showed up on the platform when we was talking hoops
It's been that
and the
long.
tourney.
Oh,
How you feel about your boy Mark Pope right now, man?
honestly, man, I've been low key quiet about it. I'm not gonna complain about how the season turned upside down for the most part. I feel like he done a phenomenal job with the cards that he was dealt. Um, a true Kentucky fan, if they're saying that they expected anything remotely close to what we got this season, I'm gonna call them a liar to their face.
I think it's definitely an upgrade over, at worst, the last 2 years
Most definitely.
at Kentucky. And heck, I mean, I think in 2022, was it that you guys lost to Murray State in the tournament?
No, it wasn't Murray. Oh God,
Because it was like a first round game. So that's the
it
reason why
was.
I can't remember who it was. But like
No,
Mark
he would have
Pope,
got fired if he lost to Murray right out the gate. Most definitely.
Mark Pope has showed a lot. They were hot. Um, really, they did some great. I mean, they beat my squad. There was a different team back then in November, and it's crazy to think that we're here in March already. But yeah, that November game against Duke was highly competitive. Came down to it, and it's one of the better non-conference college basketball games that we've had. I think for Kentucky have gone a little sideways since the Arkansas game, but
That and I I'm not big on using injuries as an excuse, but we gotta acknowledge the obvious. Like we lost some of our key components, and it was at the worst possible time because nobody saw the SEC being this strong. At least
no,
I didn't.
and I don't want to say it's fool's gold for the SEC. I do think, of course, Auburn and Bama, Tennessee is good. We just saw the shot that they hit against Alabama the other day.
Hmm.
Florida is a tricky one. I'm watching the Florida Alabama game now. They're a tricky one to really understand. You guys, of course. And then after that, I don't really trust many of the other teams in the SEC. I don't trust Texas A&M. I don't care what they did last night. That
Right.
is not a good team. I don't trust Missouri. I don't trust um, what's the other school? God dang it, Mississippi State. Um, a lot of guys. Vanderbilt had a strong win the
Yeah,
other night. I'm like, what in the world is this coming from?
exactly.
But I think the tournament is going to be very good. You already know who I'm rolling with. All right, and Flag we trust.
Surprisingly, I was just asked that question the other day, and I will be honest when I said that I'm picking Duke. I'm picking Duke. Um, Auburn, to me, they can get hot, but I just don't trust them. In terms of just how you all have progressed throughout the year. Now, granted, I'm gonna be honest and say that the ACC's been kind of
Oh yeah, the ACC is falling off completely now. This was the ACC of before COVID, where you had a Virginia squad that was really good. Carolina still put out some good, talented teams, and Florida State was competitive. Miami was competitive. It's like what happened with the ACC is you had three or four legendary coaches outside of Coach K and Duke that all left the game at the same exact time. Roy Williams left abruptly. Carolina has they've been a downward spiral. Miami, Virginia, and now Florida State. Three programs that have been powerhouses over the last decade, all have lost their coach or coaches. Leonard Hamilton's retiring, but they all got old and they can't handle what this new NIL atmosphere in college basketball is, and that has been devastating those programs. And Coach K had the ultimate succession plan in place, and John Shire has just taken it and ran with it. Do you know, in 3 years, he's won 27 games every season, and he still has one more regular season game to go in the tournaments? Like, that's nuts. We're
I
27
agree.
and 3, bro.
I agree. That's why I was just like, in terms of just what I've seen, because I've watched a lot of Duke this year, and when you look at their ability to shoot on the perimeter, Flag's not afraid to get downhill and attack. Um,
He's only
the
going to get better.
the big guy y'all have, can't remember his name
Common Malawach, the
or
South
whoever.
Sudanese star.
I was like, he gives you exactly what you would want in a big for his size, and I'm just like, y'all have the perfect balance across the board.
And then
So
don't let my guy Slim, Isaiah Evans, aka Baby Brandon Ingram, Baby Kevin Durant, get hot. Because when that boy, I love it. Anytime he gets the ball, I'm saying shoot it. I don't care where, shoot it. Because he has
yeah,
the ultimate green light. I mean, what he did in that Auburn game was just crazy. And to think, like, he hit 6 threes in the first half. And that was basically the first time he had played in a game all season.
it's crazy. So that's why I was just like,
Nuts.
the confidence level of the team at this point in the season. I just feel like right now that you all are a scary group.
Yes. We are fighting injuries of our own. Tyrese Proctor came back after missing one game with a knee injury. We thought he would miss a couple of games, but he played the other night against Wake. We're still missing Malik Brown, who's transfer big from Syracuse, who, he's just been spectacular. Freak injury against Virginia, I still can't believe it, but hopefully we get him back in middle of next week. At the worst, he's out until the NCAA tournament. But we've been playing really good basketball, man. I think the crazy thing was we had the game against Illinois 2 weeks ago, and Illinois had been struggling, but for a while Illinois was playing some really good basketball, and they just hit a bad streak. I'm like, all right, this Illinois team, everybody says is one of the better teams in the Big Ten. They just in a bad stretch right now. Man, we blew them out. Like, scoring 110 points and winning by 43 was not on the bingo card.
At all. And that's why I'm just like, when I'm watching Flag play, I'm like, you all don't even need him to go out and try to get 25.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
that's the biggest blessing in it all, because he could easily be one of those kids that he knows he's under the spotlight. Everything is, centered around him, and he could easily be that big ego kid that's going to go out and try to do too much. But the
Correct.
fact that he plays within the game, you don't have to, coach has to reel him in. He's doing too much. I was like, man.
And the
So
boy is only 18. He was 17 in the first 2 months of the season. He turned 18 before Christmas. Now, bro, think about that, how crazy that is. The man should be a
yeah,
high school senior right now.
absolutely. So I'm watching. Outside of that, um, trying to think. I honestly I don't know because everything is just kind of up and down. Like I don't know who else I would.
Houston, I think Houston is a team not a lot of people are talking about because the Big 12 basketball is just not nearly respected, and that's mainly because of the absolute brutal collapse of Kansas. Kansas being 19 and 11 heading into the first weekend of March is definitely not something I expected. They were the number one team in the country. They were the number one team in the country when we faced them. I think it was Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah,
Everybody was saying this is one of Bill Self's best teams since they won the championship in 2022. And they've just have fallen off and fallen off and fallen off. I mean, they lost on Saturday, and Bill Self had to put out. I mean, they started threatening the players, and Bill Self had to put out a statement. I've never seen that. Never.
oh wow, look, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Bill Self put out a statement on official statement hours after the game ended about how be critical of me, don't be critical of the players and stuff like that. It was outrageous.
And this is
And
go ahead,
yeah,
my bad.
no, I mean this. They got absolutely brutalized against BYU. Like that game was like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, even going back to Kentucky, it's like I've been seeing different little articles and stuff, and it's like, was Pope really the right hire? And this, and I'm like, how do we even get to this extreme, considering how well we started out the season?
Correct, and you're still ranked. It's and the Kentucky program is like Alabama football. You know, it's has so much prestige, so much legacy behind it, so much that another coach is going to be very, very hard to step in there in that program. And not a lot of people could handle that. But Mark Pope has shown he is a very capable coach. And I think, you know, he'll be able to get them to some very good heights in the next few years. It's got to, I mean, Kentucky already has a monster of a program right there that Cal built. Only thing
Yeah.
he has to do is continue to keep it moving, keep it greased, keep those top recruits coming, you know. You know, hopefully he loses some more guys to my program down the road, but you know, I can't hate too much.
It's gonna be interesting
And
to see.
you guys had that big win against Louisville too, right?
Yeah, I don't even
I
want
mean,
to know if you call that a big win. I mean, that's expected coming from our part, but I will give kudos to Louisville because he's turned that program around extremely fast. They look amazing. I've been watching
completely
them as
rebuilt the
well,
program. Completely
and
rebuilt it.
it's going to be interesting in the state of Kentucky for the next few years because even in terms of recruiting, I think what's his name, Kelsey? Am I?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm like in terms of recruiting and stuff, he's already on pace to be, hit the ground running, bringing in the right group of kids and things like that. So sky's the limit for the University of Louisville. I hate to say that. I mean, giving y'all praise, Louisville and Duke, and
Take a
it,
shot, bro. Take a
it
shot.
burns. I need to.
Take a shot.
It burns. But to the most important topic tonight, man, like
The destruction of a once great program in less than 30 days.
this is insane. And I think like the other night, I don't even know where to begin because when I saw what happened to Kyrie, like it touched me in a way that I haven't felt in a long time as it pertains to sports.
Yeah.
And it was like as soon as you saw him hit the ground and he laid there, it was like, wait a minute, no, something's not right. And
And it
then
was early, an early gut punch. An
and then
early gut punch.
when you saw him go to the line and it was like he was emotionless for the most part. And then that's when you saw the tears.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, I was like, wait a minute, man. Like this is severe. And like right now, I don't think anybody is understanding what's taking place here. He's the only one that just kind of knew. And it was like, if you go back to when Klay Thompson tore his ACL. Everything was just happening, so you really didn't have time to really process it. Or even Kevin Durant.
Yep.
It was like everything was just going on, and then when they went down, you still didn't have time to process it for real, and then it was just like, okay, they're off the court, and then everything just happened. But it was like in this moment, he has to go to the foul line. Of course, Clay did too, but it was like everything just kind of felt like it built up to that moment, and that was the peak of the Dallas Mavericks collapse. And
That was the true pinnacle, the finishing grace, the for the WWE wrestling fans out there, that was the Mavericks catching the people's elbow.
ooh,
Okay, the
ooh,
Stone Cold Stunner, the pedigree. It was that was it, and you know the downfall was completely. I've been saying this online, on Twitter mostly, Facebook even. This is a betrayal of the highest kind. This is purely karmic. A buddy of mine sent me a Bleacher Report post and like, how would it feel to be a Mavericks fan? Maybe you posted and we commented on we'll get this episode going, but like from Luka's injury on Christmas Day, which was so funny because like I was going through some stuff that I had in my closet. And I remember years ago, 1 year anniversary, my wife planned a trip. All right, and I've been a Mavericks fan for our entire relationship. We started dating in 2011, right before the title run. All right, and
okay,
she was
okay,
supporting me and being there for me and everything like that. So she knows I've been a Mavericks fan for a while. So we get married in 2017, 2018. She plans a surprise trip for me. We go to Dallas. She gets us great seats because I had wanted to see Dirk play in Dallas before he retired. This was a
okay.
season before he retired. And we're there and it's great atmosphere. I get to go down on the court before the game. We took pictures. It's great. Was having fun. I was just like, man, I cannot believe my wife did this for me. The next year, the Mavericks were so terrible. We were able to draft Luka. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy has just been amazing. I heard about him a little bit before the draft. Didn't really know about him. I know we had just drafted Dennis Smith Jr. the year before. He was a
Mhm.
great player from NC State. Great player. But when Luka got on there, and I'm like, oh my God, get Dennis Smith out of the way, give Luka the ball, let him work. All right. No offense to Dennis Smith Jr., great player and everything, but he ain't Luka. And
Right.
as you see, not very many people and players are Luka. So you have all that happen. He plays in the bubble. He has a great game against the Clippers and a great series against the Clippers in the bubble. The next year after the bubble, I remember I'm on the beach, bro. I'm on a beach, Cape Cod. We're with my wife's friends, and we're sitting there at the beach. I'm watching Game 7 of Lakers Mavericks on a beach, and Luka's going crazy. All right. I think he drops like almost a 50-point triple double in Game 7. We ended up losing that game, and I was just distraught. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I hate the Clippers so much. I hate this. Okay. Next year, I had moved to Nashville, come
Mhm.
back, the journey of 2022, all the way up through the Sun series. That you have that saying, what he said, everybody wants to talk tough when they up. All right.
Yeah.
He said that after game 5, game 6 and 7, he made them his sons. He made the Suns his sons. Destroyed that franchise. Get all the way up to the Western Conference Finals, and we just weren't good enough to beat the Warriors, and that's fine. If you're not good enough to beat the eventual champs, I'm okay with that. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Next year, we had some great things going. Then we made the Kyrie trade, and I wasn't a fan of the Kyrie trade at the moment, not because I didn't love Kyrie, because I love Kyrie. It says I hate the pieces that we gave up around the team to get Kyrie. I was like, man, I wish we could have kept this player, but we ended up not making the playoffs. They tanked, got fined, whatever. But they got my guy Derek Lively. Derek Lively, great center, has actually done very well against Wemby. And people don't understand Derek Lively has not lost a game to Wemby as a starter.
Look, I didn't know that either.
Wemby ain't beat the Mavericks.
Oh wow.
Wemby ain't beat the Mavericks. So last year was just so special. You had, of course, Luka's 73-point game. Everybody talked about him like it was the worst thing anybody's ever done, but let it have been anybody else. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The MVP caliber season, he finished number 3 in the MVP voting. And I'm gonna get back to that in a moment. But then you get the trades that happen. We keep bringing PJ Washington, your guy. We bring in Daniel Gafford. We bring in other key pieces around this team, and everything was like, hold on now, hold on.
Yeah, it
Luka's
shocked me.
playing great. We're playing great defense. We can do some things here. Then we get the Clippers again. Like, all right, if there was a team I wanted to beat, it has to be these guys. You know, you ever want to, like Jordan when he wanted to get over the Pistons, all right? you got to get over that hump, bro. You got to get over the hump. So that's what happened. Whew, man. Then it's OKC. And everybody's like, oh, OKC, they're the best team. And SGA, let me say this about SGA. He was not this at Kentucky.
None of them were, dude. That's why it's so mind-blowing to me that Calipari, like, you give
Jamal
any other
Murray,
coach those players and they have multiple titles. Like, it's even looking at
crazy to me.
Maxey, bro. I'm like, even Maxey. He had
Devin
Booker
Booker,
coming
I
off the
think, was
bench.
the only one that really showed you, outside of John Wall, Devin Booker was the one that really was like, okay, he was good, but even he didn't go, I think he went like 9 or something like that in that draft that year.
Somewhere around there.
But either way, SGA just turned into an automatic 30-a-night score is just the wildest thing. I
It
wouldn't expect it.
burns.
Same draft as Luka too, by the way. Same draft, and he's older than Luka. So get all that. Mavericks have a great series against OKC, and I think that's probably those two West Conference series, Mavericks and Thunder and Denver and Minnesota were probably the two best playoff series overall last playoffs.
Okay.
By far. Then Mavericks win. We get the Wolves and Anthony Edwards like, oh yeah, I'm a guard Kyrie. Dog, why would you want that smoke? And we saw from game 1, it was a wrap. Game 2, Luka put him in the body bag with one of his best shots that will live on forever on NBA highlight reels. And really, if Derek Lively,
is that the one you
oh
talking
yeah,
about? Okay.
and poor Rudy, because poor Rudy is a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, you look at what he's done: a multiple-time All-Star, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Even his international work, he's a 2-time silver medalist. Like, the man has had a Hall of Fame level career, but he will always be remembered for that shot. He will always be remembered for getting embarrassed on national TV. And that's, I can't say, I don't know what else you want to say. All right, Rudy, I don't know what else you want me to say. So we had that happen. Almost sweep them. If Derek Lively doesn't get hurt, we probably sweep the Thunder. Not the Thunder, but the Timberwolves.
T-Wolves, yeah.
Go to the finals against the Celtics, and really people like, oh man, Luka's defense is terrible. And
What I really didn't understand.
Look,
And it was just like, when you look at the Boston Celtics and how that team was put together, it's like there was going to be mismatches across the board, regardless who they played.
correct.
And to just kind of put him on an island and isolate him, like, to me, I thought that wasn't fair.
And it wasn't fair. Then ESPN piled on Luka with this fake blow by stat percentage. Like, bro, I've been watching NBA for a long time. You and I have been watching NBA. And let's say We haven't known each other long, but we probably both watched the NBA at least for the last 25 years.
Easily. Yeah.
Easily. Okay. Never in my life have I heard of this blown by percentage defensive stat ever. Not have I not heard of it until the finals. I've not seen it since the finals. So what you're telling me is this stat that you guys came up with, this fake stat you guys came up with, was so important. Nobody has heard of it ever since, and that stat wasn't shown for any other player but one, Luka Doncic. You haven't heard of it in the 200 NBA games that have happened this season. You haven't heard it for any of the 400 players that play in the NBA this season.
Yeah.
But it just happened to come out in the finals? Really? Really? You mean to tell me, like, it's stuff like that that I absolutely cannot stand because it's purely propaganda and used to ruin a player's game, character. It's truly disgusting work. Nasty,
Honestly,
nasty work. Nasty
it
work.
hasn't been until the last few years that I was willing to admit and concede the argument that the media has these agendas.
Oh yeah.
Like you always heard the rumors and heard people talk about it, but it was just like you didn't want to cave into it because it almost tarnishes the league in a sense.
It does tarnish it, and I think when I really saw it at its nastiest, and I like Big Perk. He does some good things sometimes. I love his Luka belt to ass video that is out there. I always like that. But when he went off on Jokic and was saying the stuff about Jokic being a stat pattern and was not worthy of winning an MVP and basically went on that tirade that ended up costing Jokic a third straight MVP, which he should have won. He should have won three. Jokic should have won 4 MVPs in a row right now. But it is what it is. That moment right there is like, okay, the media is all in on, okay, we don't want certain players to win certain awards because then when they do win those awards, then you got to put them in another level. You got to look at them in a certain way and compare them to other greats. And we're going to get into, it will come all full circle on this in a moment. So that right there, back to the Mavericks, back to Luka, how they assassinated that man right there was just disgusting, all right? Luka was the only player that showed up in the finals. The only player. I love Kyrie to death. Kyrie had probably the worst series I've ever seen him have. And not only that, I think it was players not named Luka Doncic in the finals were like 9% from 3.
Yeah.
Dog, you're not.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Hold on.
It was not our problem that entire series. Our problem was our offense. We couldn't hit the ocean. We were standing on a boat in the middle of it. Like it was just ridiculous. And all this, and Luka's a leader. He took great responsibility for it. Kyrie took great accountability for his actions. Said, "Hey, I'm gonna be better." And it is what it is, you know. And then this season and everything, the injuries, and from Christmas till now has just been absolutely one of the worst times. And then February 1st comes around, all right? I'm sitting here. Only thing I had thought about February 1st was that was the first Duke Carolina game. I'm sitting here with my dog. We're watching the game. Duke wins by 20 or something like that. We were up big the whole game. I don't care. I'm celebrating. I'm about to light my victory cigar. Like, I am happy. I sit down, I put my phone off to the side. I'm watching a movie. Wife was out with her family. She comes home. We ended up watching TV. It gets to about 1:30 in the morning. It's like, all right, man, you're really having a good night. It's like, yeah, I'm good. You know, Duke won. And I'm having time with you and fun. It's like, oh, man, I can't believe you're taking the news so well. What news are you talking about? She's like, have you heard? No, my phone's over there. Bro, I probably haven't been away from my phone outside of work since and when I wasn't asleep for more than 2 hours, more than I was at night. I literally, just checked out enjoying myself, enjoying the night. I get on there and it says Dallas Mavericks have traded Luka Doncic
Yeah.
to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. I blacked out.
Dude, I was still up that night. I was still up. And my initial reaction, I was heated. I'm going to be honest. I was heated. I was just like, to me, it didn't make sense. Um, I didn't think Anthony Davis deserved being traded. And
And
especially for Luka. So go into like seeing the fan base reaction on national TV and how everybody has just been like, to me, that shows you that everybody was on board with Luka. This may be one of the worst trades in the history of the NBA, man. Like for real.
and I likened it to the Warriors trading Steph before he won his first MVP. Before trading Jordan before 1990.
Mm.
Trading the Rockets trading Elijah Wan before 93. Like it's key cornerstone players. This just does not happen. And I literally backed up my wife, my dog. I'm just standing in the middle of the living room looking at my phone. And then I'm like, hold on. I turned the TV on ESPN, and it was right there staring at me in my face, like, oh my God, this is reality.
Like
This
it
is real.
really
This
happened.
really happened. Like I just don't. And it still doesn't make sense to me. But like she's like, yeah, you don't remember doing. I don't remember nothing. I just remember being in complete shock. She said I walked around the house 3 or 4 times, slammed doors that were halfway open. The dog tried to jump on me. I pushed the dog away. I don't remember nothing, bro. I don't remember absolutely nothing. And then I start seeing, I followed Kyrie Center IG on Twitter. It's a great Kyrie stand page. You know, the Kyrie fans on Twitter and the Luka fans on Twitter have had kind of a war for like the last year or so about who should be the leader, who take the last shot and everything. But you know, it was a friendly, battle between the two because you know they are all together working as one. Like, do you remember they were saying people on TV were saying Kyrie and Luka is the most talented backcourt ever.
Yeah.
That
That
was not, and it wasn't. People like, oh, what about Steph and Clay? They were pretty good, guys. Let me be absolutely honest with you here. I love Klay Thompson. I love Steph Curry. Kyrie and Luka do things that Steph and Clay could never, ever, ever do. I'm sorry.
facts. I agree though.
It's if you watch their games together, it's no comparison. It's absolutely no comparison. People want to talk about what about look, from forget 30, 40, 50 years ago, those guys can't compare. I'm sorry. Those guys cannot compare. This was what the Mavericks had last year, and that finals run was one of the most special runs I've ever seen in my entire life. And Kyrie Center IG posted this video. I think it was after it was a press conference after the Mavs had won the Western Conference. So after Game 5. So Kyrie has a trophy right there in between them. Luka has his Western Conference MVP trophy with him. And Kyrie is just talking so poetically about how great it's been to work with Luka and everything. That's his hermano. Bro, I started crying. Because I knew I'm never going to see those two play together ever again. The anger in me still. And granted, like, I saw what we had been going through, and like that whole month of January, was rough. But Mavericks had still been able to win some games. We had still went to Denver and won without Luka. We had still, been treading water because we knew Luka's going to come back. We're gonna get guys healthy. We're gonna get better. We're gonna get back to what we were because we still have a great team. We have Klay Thompson now. Klay Thompson with Luka. Oh my God, hadn't had that many open threes ever.
That's why I
Ever.
was upset that he didn't go to the Lakers. But go ahead.
That's another thing. Like,
Mm.
I've never seen a team give up or say that they're, push in that press conference the next day. It was at that point that I was fully on the fire Nico Harrison train. It was at that point though when Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd, and I'm a huge Jason Kidd fan. I have, as you see right here in my name, Cory Smith True Card Adventures. I collect basketball cards, 90s basketball cards of Jason Kidd, okay? All these cards right here, bro, are all Jason Kidd cards. Every single one of them, all right? This is probably my most expensive and most rare Jason Kidd card. I will sell just about all these cards because I am completely finished with Jason Kidd.
I don't mean to laugh at your pain, man. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, laugh at it, because I got to get this out. I've been wanting to get this out for a while. Like, this is the betrayal. The betrayal. Jason Kidd is a Dallas Mavericks legend. It's part of the 2011 team that won the championship with Dirk. So I've loved Jason Kidd. You know, my very first NBA jersey was a Dallas Mavericks number 5 Jason Kidd rookie jersey.
Oh, wow.
There is a picture of me. I was in Europe in the 90s on a Rhine-Boat river cruise through Germany. And my grandparents took a picture of me wearing my Dallas Mavericks Jason Kidd jersey on the boat. I've been a Jason Kidd fan for years. I think he's one of the most underrated point guards in NBA history.
Most definitely.
Man took the New Jersey Nets, he took the Nets in the Eastern Conference to the finals in back-to-back seasons. Think about how difficult that is. And we're talking about the early 2000s, all right?
Yeah.
Think about how difficult that is to do. I don't even know how many teams from the East, outside of LeBron-led Miami and Cleveland, and I think Detroit. There haven't been very many teams in the last 20 plus years to go back to back from the East outside of those teams. And Jason Kidd did that. All right.
You make a valid point.
He's an all-time great. I hated that Chris Paul passed him for number 2 all-time assists, but it is what it is. But like with Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison right there, and we're talking about, yeah, we made this trade, J. Kidd, he didn't know about it. What? You mean to tell me you train your star player on your team and your head coach doesn't know about it, doesn't have a clue what you're about to do? Don't lie to me. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining.
And that's the part that kind of threw me for the loop on both sides of it, because it's kind of like now that a few weeks have gone by and you kind of see how Anthony Davis is kind of responding to it in a sense. And to me, he's not that caliber player where he's just going to come out and blatantly diss the Lakers and things like that. But I'm like, somebody had to have known. Something like, who signed off on this? You're not going to make me believe that this was just something that was just so kept in the dark and nobody had a clue.
Correct. And Jeannie Buss knew, of course. Rich Paul came on Gil Arenas' show a couple weeks back and said that he didn't know. We may never truly know who all knew, but I don't blame the Lakers. I don't blame Lakers at all. I don't blame Lakers at all because they were going to make a push to try to land Luka. The Mavericks, under the new ownership, and I feel for Mark Cuban so bad. People want to blame Mark Cuban and his reasoning for selling his stake in the team was very valid. In hindsight, it was misguided. But him wanting to do something to improve the team and not really wanting his family to take a hold of it because his kids were still young. I think it was very short-sighted. Very
Mhm.
short-sighted because you never know what can happen down the road. I'm sure he regrets doing that because no amount of money will ever get the credibility that he's lost since this trade back. Never. Never.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get a talent like Luka back again. And on top of that, bro, here's one of the biggest sins of this, okay? Let's say, all right, you're all the stuff that's come out about Luka since, I think that's complete bull. If I am a free agent player, I'm gonna ask myself, why would I want to go and play for this organization that's going to talk about me like this, who talked about Luka like this? Why would I want to? Why? Why would I trust them? Why? Look at how they did Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson said, "Oh yeah, I want to come here and play with Luka and Kyrie." And I've been playing some great ball when I played next to Luka and Kyrie. You know how many points Klay Thompson had in the last game? He had 3 points. One for
It, it,
four.
it's a huge game changer, man, and that's why I want to ask you directly, like, how many years do you think this has set the organization back?
A minimum of a decade. Minimum.
Because it's like we already know, you're a Duke guy. Kyrie Irving has had that injury nag stamped on him
Correct.
since the beginning.
And it
And
doesn't it doesn't get easier with him being this at his age either.
at all. And that's why I was telling my wife, I was like, just from a mental aspect, this is what was it his left knee that he messed up when he was in Cleveland?
I thought it was one of those like people haven't talked about. I remember Kyrie having a knee injury like either his second or third season in the league, and Kyrie and this people say, oh yeah, Kyrie was behind this and he wanted to lead the team. That's the reason why he left LeBron in Cleveland because he wanted to have his own team. He wanted to have his own team in Brooklyn with KD. He wanted to be the leader. He wanted to be the front man. That may have been the case when he left Cleveland, but he has said he loves it in Dallas. He loves playing next to Luka. It doesn't make sense for him to want to put all that pressure on him once again.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And the conspiracy theorists have said, well, maybe this was league mandated. I hope and pray to God this wasn't a league mandated thing behind the scenes. I hope Adam Silver had nothing to do with this. I hope that's not the case. Because if it does, bro, do you know that would be the biggest sports scandal of all time?
I agree there because I was just telling some people where even after the trade, I was like, I'm not sleeping on Dallas. You bring back Lively, Gafford, Anthony Davis,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
a
Kyrie.
formidable group of bigs right there, and like it's
And
going to be tough
Kyrie
in the
playing
paint.
freely. Like at that point, you got a glimpse of what Kyrie could truly bring to the table,
Yeah,
being the sole focus of, you know what I'm saying? Like no pressure of having to share the ball with another star, not having to focus on making sure there's a big down there that's getting X amount of touches. Kyrie was just able to play free.
yeah.
And I was like, dude, playoffs come, you're gonna get a scary version of this team. That's why I was like, I'm not sleeping on Dallas. And it was just
And you
dang.
add in PJ Washington, the OKC killer. I mean, that was a team that could do a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of noise. And now it's over with because it just this team has no. If I'm 80's agent, I'm not playing him this year. If cause, and people talk about when Gafford and Lively come back. Look, Gafford's injury, they said it was an MCL sprain, be reevaluated. We ain't heard nothing about that reevaluation whatsoever. We have no clue when he's coming back. Lively was supposed to be an ankle sprain. Ended up saying he had a broken bone in his foot. He's out till April. Ain't heard nothing else about him since. All right. We have all these injuries. People say, "Oh, well, what to the playoffs, guys? We're the 10th seed, okay? If
Yeah.
the Suns haven't been absolutely horrible, and they had a comeback win last night against the Clippers, if the Suns had been playing any kind of good basketball, they would have passed the Mavericks up a week ago.
That's
Because the
fair.
Mavs since Christmas are like 13 and 19, 13 and 20, something
I
stupid.
saw that.
Something
So
stupid.
look, I got a comment here
Yeah,
on
fair.
YouTube. It says
Trade AD for Kevin Durant. And you know what? That may be a thing. It may be a thing. But once again, I don't think it's going to be any better. Because here's the reason why I don't think it's going to be any better. And it's come to me. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. But my guy, Jason Kidd here, is not nearly as good of a coach as the guy in LA.
ooh.
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
It is become blatantly obvious to me. And I hate, you know what, bro? Like I said, the betrayal, like I'm sitting here drinking out of my Dallas Mavericks dirt cup, okay? One of my favorite cups. You see that? There, right there. Loyalty, all right? The betrayal that Mavs fans have felt, if this was real life, we'd be divorced. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see your face. I don't want to hear you breathe around me anymore. I can't. So yeah,
Welcome aboard.
yeah. I'm fully aboard. Fully aboard.
Welcome
All right.
aboard. I ain't gonna say I'm the captain of the ship because I don't even consider myself a diehard Laker. But I
And
told
that's
you,
just one of the things. It's once again, you say defense wins championships, but yet you trade your star player to a contender in your own conference. Are you fucking stupid?
and the
Once
fact
again,
that the Lakers
fireable offense after fireable offense.
the
I don't
Lakers look
understand this.
better defensively now than before the trade. That's why I'm like, I don't know what spark was lit over there. And I like JJ. I was all on board with JJ from the beginning because you can tell that he's a basketball mind.
He is a basketball mind, and I think, and this has been my problem, um, being involved in coaching for so long. I see guys going through the ranks, going and being graduate assistants, going to be assistant coaches, and working their way up. Okay, I see them how they get to certain levels and reach the peak. I love when you see people go on a journey. My problem with some players and stuff like that, they get these high profile jobs and have had nothing to show that they even been worthy of it just because they were an athlete at one point. I didn't really like it. I didn't like the
Man,
JJ hire. I didn't really care for when Prime got the Jackson State job. I don't really, Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson just got college football jobs. They've never been coaches. Like, you pass up certain guys to get these big names. I'm like, why? And at first, I'm like, guys, are the Lakers serious? Like, truly, are the Lakers serious about winning here? Do they really want to maximize this? And it wasn't until this trade happened I could really truly say, okay, the Lakers are serious about trying to do some things and turn things around. Because want to know why I know they're serious? You ain't heard anything about Bronny getting in the game in the first half, in the second half. He played 3 minutes last night, or was it last night or no? Nobody cares. Nobody cares because he ain't playing with Luka. He ain't playing with Luka. He ain't never gonna sniff the court when Luka's on the court. Ain't happening because the Lakers are serious about winning now. And JJ Redick has shown, all right, and this in his previous press conference, you guys play drop against Luka, you're going to die.
I like the
30,
fire that he brings. And
30
that
points,
was set from day one.
15
Like he
assists.
holds everybody accountable. And to me, that's what LeBron has been missing the majority of his career. The only ones that held him accountable, Pat Riley and Spoelstra, and then Ty Lue.
I want to say
Outside of
Mike
that,
Brown probably did, but
I,
hard to
I don't
say.
I don't know because it's too many podcasts where Mike Brown was just like, "Hey, I just told LeBron do what you do," and it's like a superstar caliber player like LeBron it's very hard to coach because you got to think in the last 10 years, a lot of his coaches has been players that he's played against. So it's like, what could you really tell LeBron
Yeah.
James in a huddle? But I
It,
feel like him and JJ have a mutual respect for each other. And I love how JJ is willing to call a timeout. Even if he walks away from the huddle, he's peed off. His body language and his actions can spark the team coming out of the timeout. And that's what I enjoy the most.
yes. And you see, people have said JJ coaches like he is a young Pat Riley in the 80s with the Lakers. And if that is the case, then if you just gave this man the next Magic Johnson, I mean, we literally just gave Luke, like, another
I love
thing why the Mavericks trade is so unforgivable, just not even from a fan base standpoint, but I love Luka so much. I want to see him earn and get everything he's meant to get. They cost this man $100 million.
in my opinion, I think that was the sole purpose of that trade. I don't even think it had anything to do with basketball.
Maybe so, but then and here's another thing. All right, let's say for some reason Dallas falls out the playoffs. All right, we get into the lottery. We happen to draft Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag is everything that Cooper Flag is said to be. You know, eventually you're going to pay him more than what you would have had to pay Luka. Because the way the salary cap keeps rising, the way the CBAs keep going, Cooper Flag will eventually, if he gets, let's say he doesn't, he's not a 5-time first team All NBA. Let's say he makes 3 first-time NBAs by the time he enters year 7. Okay, multiple time All-Star. All right, leads him a couple playoff runs. You're going to have to pay this man more money than what you would have had to pay Luka because of the salary increase from year to year. Right. Not only that, what are you telling? If you aren't willing to pay Luka, why would anybody else think, oh, they're going to pay me that money? What? Huh?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't make
It's
sense.
a
It
bad
doesn't.
look across the board.
So once again, fire Nico Harrison. Miriam Allison, the main owner of the Mavericks, needs to talk to her son-in-law and say, hey, thank you for being married to my daughter. All right. Give me some more grandchildren or do whatever you want. You're not running this NBA team anymore. Bye. Get Mark Cuban, put him in that spot. Let Mark run PR. Because every single day, and I'm just like, it's been a month straight since the trade where the Mavericks cannot embarrass themselves. You ever see that sign? You know, it's been such and such days without issue, or like 9 days since the last incident. All right, the Mavs keep resetting to 0, bro. The
Yeah,
Mavs
it's
keep
bad,
resetting
man.
to 0.
It's bad. That's why I was just like, I felt so awful just for the fan base. Like I
Like,
said, when you saw Kyrie and he was just like, any ounce of hope literally went out the window.
all ounce of hope. Like, he's like, Nico Harrison puts out that statement. He's like, oh yeah, I've seen Kyrie do some great things on the court. It reminded me of Kobe Bryant, that Mamba mentality and everything like that. Bro, we don't want to hear nothing about Kobe. We don't want to hear nothing about the Lakers no more, all right? Shut up. Don't talk.
Oh my
Don't
god.
talk no more. Then they put out rapper Duro, who is a Dallas rapping icon, comes out with this great video, and then you black out players that were in the trade. You don't show any Luka videos or anything like that. And it was on social media for like 5 hours. Took that down real quick. The Patrick Dumont talks about all these great players that worked hard over the years. You talk about, oh yeah, we wanted a guy to have, great work ethic like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Shaq. We want those guys. If we want players to come in here, we want them to be like that, okay? You're not going to take a vacation on our dime. What? You sound stupid. Because we all know what Magic Johnson was doing behind the scenes. He didn't get HIV from nothing, all right? We know what Jordan was doing outside of basketball, all right? Nobody to say, hey, he is in the locker room with a bat, holding a cigar with a cigar in his mouth, talking about, oh yeah, what? And Larry Bird, we all know Larry Bird can drink like a fish and go out there and drop 40 on you. And don't even get me talking about Shaq. Oh yeah, Luka's 270. He wasn't in shape. Shaq would come in weighing 400 pounds and still dominate.
Easily.
Okay?
That's why I didn't buy the whole weight gain and he wasn't focused on this. And I mean, you could look at his physique and tell that he had put on pounds compared to when he was first drafted, but it didn't diminish his skill set.
No.
And I'm
And
like, you're talking about a player who has literally time and time again put the team on his back
back.
and carried them. And I was like, even if you look at the play, was it last year's playoff run where he was dealing with the bloody knee? Or was
Yeah.
that the year before?
That was last year. He had the bloody knee. He was banged up on his ribs. I got a great picture of him getting wrapped up looking like a mummy out there before the finals, man. The man would not stop. He would not be look, if Luka could go out there and play, he would go out there and play. All right. If he couldn't give it his all, he would and it's just so mind-boggling. And then all that, he listed Patrick Dumont listed all those players, and he didn't mention the guy, the legend you got a statue outside of your damn arena for. He didn't mention him once at all. And it's like, people's like, oh man, how can these Mavericks fans switch on? And you've been a Mavericks fan, MFFL, Mavs fan for life. Dog, that betrayal is so deep, Dirk ain't even been back.
It's rough, man. That's why I was just like, it shows you to me, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, but it's like I've always hated that whole, oh, this player was loyal to one organization. I've always hated that conversation. Excuse me.
There's truly no loyalty in sports now. And if there ever was, because Lucas always said, yeah, I want to play in Dallas my whole life.
And the fact that the man just had a brand new house built and all that, I was like, to me, that is even worse
Bro,
because it shows that he was committed.
his daughter was born in Dallas. He was building a family there. Like, come on now. Like how cold blooded and cold hearted do you have to be? Like once again, I said all this is karma. Everything that's happened to the Dallas Mavericks since February 1st is all purely karma. You do not do these things and think, oh yeah, we're gonna make these moves. Defense wins championships. No, you don't deserve to win anything now. You don't deserve peace anywhere you go in this city. Like Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd, I hope they both understand this. And they may never see this video, but I hope somebody sends it to them. You will never work in this league ever again once you're done in Dallas. Because no GM, no ownership is going to trust you to run their organization after seeing how terribly you did for a month straight. No coaching organization, nobody is going to bring you in to be their head guy. Maybe assistant coach Jason Kidd. You may be able to get on with some organization or some franchise that needs help, but they're never going to let you run it because they saw how poorly of a coach you have truly shown yourself to be. This is quite possibly the worst thing that's ever happened to a franchise in less than a year.
I'm
And
starting to believe
it was all self-inflicted. Like, bro, I did not care for the Lakers. They weren't a team that, I love Kobe. Everybody loves Kobe. I have the Kobe Mama Mentality book over there. I was always for my Mavericks. Once I got back into watching the NBA in like 2009, I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll with Dirk. I love his game. Had him in fantasy basketball. Won me a couple championships. I loved it. Got fully invested. I've been to games here in Indianapolis. I already said I went to one game in Dallas. I love the Mavericks. And then after this trade, I realized I was only able to see the Mavericks play one time after they got Luka. And Luka was out for that game. So the entire time Luka was a Dallas Mavericks, I never got to see him play as a Maverick.
oh wow.
That's stolen from me. And now, if I want to see him play for the Lakers, yeah, I can see him do it. Do you know how much more expensive that's going to be?
I haven't even checked because the crazy thing is, before all of this went down, my wife, she's a Boston fan. We were actually looking at tickets to go to the game this Saturday in Boston, Lakers versus Boston.
Really?
And I don't even want to look now that Luka's there. I was like, I'm not even going to try it because I already know it's going to be something crazy.
Like, and that's another thing. They said the Mavericks ticket prices have dropped 40%. Let my dog out. Have dropped 40% in the last few weeks, while Lakers prices have increased by, I don't want to say double, but there has been a significant increase. All right. Lakers celebrities are showing up to Laker games
They
again,
are
bro.
back. And that's why I like, I'm a LeBron guy. And I'm like, dude, LeBron's been there for what? 8 years
This
almost.
it's like year 7. He's been there longer. He's been in Miami.
And I'm like, they have embraced Luka way more than they've embraced him. But I was like, you know what? That's perfectly fine. Whatever's going to bring that excitement back, if it's going to motivate LeBron to play extra hard, which in my opinion, he looks like a completely different player right now. And
30.
I
Both of them dropping 30 in a game should be scary. Everybody should be scared and terrified. If the Lakers, I think it's set up almost perfectly for the Lakers and Boston to be in the finals again.
that would be crazy.
And if that, I mean, that would be, and this is the reason why I hate NBA conspiracy theories. Hey, baby, because that would do insane numbers. It would do insane, like whatever. And I don't want to say this, but like whatever Jordan's highest finals ratings, it would be around there. If we had a 20 million per game average, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised whatsoever because the Lakers are playing really good basketball right now. Luka, if he gets into his form, I mean, he 38 and 15 is about what he averaged last year as an MVP third place vote getter. And I said a couple weeks ago, like once Luka gets those numbers, he's going to be a tear and he's going to win multiple MVPs as a Laker. And if Luka would have been on the Lakers last year, averaging 34, 9, and 9, he wins MVP by a landslide. And people are telling on themselves, "Oh my God, this Luka pass is so great. ESPN is showing all these great passes." Guys, Luka was doing this for years in Dallas. You're saying you never watched? You're saying you never watched this man play one time in Dallas? How can you be so amazed by stuff he's been doing for forever? Right now, this is one of the worst Lukas we've had. He's not even 100%.
I don't even think he's 60. Hell, to be honest.
And like people are like, "Oh man, this dude this is Magic Johnson all over again." He's been better than Magic Johnson for the last 8 years.
Again, I don't mean to laugh at your pain, man. It's
No,
all right.
bro, I'm saying, man, the more I had to get this out because of like if I don't, I'll have an aneurysm, my head will explode. Like it's so infuriating to see, like people's like, "Oh yeah, SGA, he should have been the MVP last year. He had a much better season." How? Because the man averaged 30 every night. I don't want to disparage his game, but let's get this out the way. He lives at the free throw line. He gets a better whistle than anybody in the NBA. All right. If
that's a
Luka got his whistle, Luka was basically thrown to the ground last night, hit his head. I'm surprised he didn't get knocked out of the game with concussion.
I
No
was
foul.
shocked they didn't at least send him back to get looked at. Yeah. I
You
was
know what he
watching.
did? He came back, 3 eyeball, 3 eyeball, 3 eyeball. Game was over.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, hopefully, he'll continue to get his legs and stuff up under him. The
Oh yeah,
Lakers are playing a great brand of basketball right now. In my opinion, I still feel like they need a big man,
they do. But Jackson Hayes has shown why he was a top 10 draft pick coming out of Texas.
which is why I never understood why they didn't try him at the 5 and AD at the 4 the whole entire time. That's why I was like, the politics of the NBA, it doesn't make sense.
Correct.
And I'm
It
like, the
had
older I get, it's like there's no reason why certain players should be out of the league without a job. And then you see players on the court that have no business being out there. Or if the Lakers have been in desperate need of a big man for the last 3+ years, and you've had Dwight Howard and McGee, and I'm like, even if you bring them in for the veteran minimum, what harm is it going to do by experiment? And I'm like, when teams are not doing what's in the best interest of the team, it's like, okay, now this is not about winning basketball games anymore.
correct. Once
And it
again, the
took me
reason
a
why
long
I
time to
said
figure it out.
the Lakers weren't serious about winning because they didn't bring in any free agents in the offseason. Okay, you drafted Dalton Connect, who I think is a phenomenal player. He was great at Tennessee. Then you draft Bronny. What?
You knew
Like
that was all about tickets.
all about tickets, not about winning.
Mm-hmm.
All about tickets, all about sales, all about look. And people want to argue, oh, Bronny was this great player. Look, guys, he was a McDonald's All-American. He stole a McDonald's All-American spot from my guy Caleb Foster at Duke. By far. No argument can be made against it. It's clear as day. All right. He's doing some good things in G League. We're talking about G League here, okay? There are players the Lakers could have drafted that could be helping them right now that they passed up so they could bring on, I hate saying, a Make-A-Wish NBA player.
Oh, man.
Bro, he wouldn't have got drafted. If his name was Bronny Smith, he wouldn't have got drafted. They would have told him to go back to college and work on your game some more.
That's fair.
And everybody knows this, but everybody wants to dance around it. Everybody wants to say, oh, he had a heart attack. He had the heart issue. First of all, if he really, and this is conspiracy brain once again, if he really had a heart issue, he wouldn't have played at all last year. No, tell me another time where a player in college has a heart issue and plays in that same season. Tell me.
Did Sharif sit a year out? Do you
Yes.
remember?
Yeah.
He did. I remember he had the surgery, and then he transferred to what, LSU?
Yes, he did
He was
transfer
at
to LSU.
UCLA first.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Never, ever have I seen that happen, which makes me believe, okay, was this real? Did he really have something, or was it something else? Because if it was something else and they put it off as something that it wasn't, then that's a whole other step. Because once they had the NBA physical, everybody signed off, oh yeah, he's fine. So you mean to tell me he had a heart issue that affected him one time and has never had a problem?
That's a great question.
But once again, man, don't put Luka and Bronny on the court until Bronny's ready. Keep Luka on the court, winning time with winning players, okay? When Kobe of the Ozark comes back, when Rui comes back, I think the Lakers have a lot of great size and versatility around Luka to make some really great things happen. And if people's like, oh, well, Luka still doesn't play defense. He's not loud. Look, Luka is an offensive weapon. I will gladly trade an offensive player that's one of the best to ever do it, but his defense ain't the greatest. I would trade for that 1,000 times out of 1,000 because you can work on the other things. That can be those parts of his game can be fixed. All right. Everything else, what they say, you can't teach what this man can do on offense.
They've never given Curry this flack defensively, and I feel like they've always targeted Steph. on the defensive end of the floor.
I think
In big
and this
games, big moments.
and it's
That's why I said it's politics.
it's politics. It's a lot of it is people don't like the euro, and we can get into about how people hate the international players and they want to see American players come into the game, and I get it. I think what LeBron and Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant have said over the past few weeks have been correct. The media, mainly people like Stephen A, Skip Bayless, and all these other guys out here, they have destroyed the love of the game for a lot of these players to where, you know, no matter how good I'm going to be, I'm always going to be compared to a guy that played 20, 25, 30 years ago. Nothing's ever going to be good enough. I'm always going to be compared to Jordan. I'm always going to be compared to Magic. I'm always going to be compared to Bird. All right? I mean, they do that. They do look. Oh yeah, is Luka Doncic the best white player in the NBA since Larry Bird? Like, why can't he be just great? And this
Exactly.
is, and I cannot believe I'm saying this because I wasn't a big hater, but I wasn't a big fan. I still think he has his issues, but like, dog, I'm becoming, I want Clutch check. I want Clutch to send me a check because I'm like, dog, LeBron is not this terrible player that everybody makes him out to be. All right. The man has done longevity-wise, 40,000 points. I don't think anybody will ever reach. 40, 10, 10, 50,000 points now, 10 finals, 8 straight finals, all these MVPs he won, all these MVPs he didn't win when he should have won. Like, the man has just been consistent for longer than anybody else I've ever seen, and it's just ridiculous how much hate he gets.
And it's all media controlled. And after this, we'll get
All
ready.
media controlled. All media controlled. And like, when does it stop? When
And
does it stop? What's going to take it for somebody to be like, you know what? Maybe we were wrong. Maybe we shouldn't compare all these guys to Kobe and Jordan and all that. Let's let them be their own self. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, all right. LeBron made it to 8 straight finals. He won 3 of them. All right. Yeah. Some of those teams he lost to were really damn good. They were really
historically
damn good
great.
teams. Like,
Historically
it's no
great
shame.
teams. Real quick, the one blemish that he has, and I feel like it is legitimate, is with y'all. But the part that people omit and they just completely erase history, that you all swept the back-to-back champion.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does Kobe get a pass when he's coming off back-to-back championship run? He gets swept by the very same team that you mock and criticize LeBron for losing to, in which, in my opinion, when LeBron and Wade mocked Dirk, it changed the whole series. Those
Correct.
first 2 games, I feel like Miami showed that they were the better team.
Correct. And if they didn't showboat in the middle of the fourth quarter, being up 15, 16 points in the fourth quarter in game 2, and we don't make that, if we don't win game 2, I don't know if we get swept, but it's probably a gentleman's sweep. It would have been very hard to beat those guys because you had that. All right, man, these guys are just on a whole nother level than what we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, we beat the Lakers, the 2-time defending NBA champion Lakers, in a sweep, and I think game 4 we won by like a historic margin. Jason Terry was hitting threes like they was going out of style. And nobody had a problem with threes back then though. So we're not going to get into that. Nobody had a problem with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant are hitting a boatload of threes, but let a garbage team like the Washington Wizards take 40 threes and hit 5 of them. Oh my God, it's the worst thing. This NBA is terrible. Guys, look, just shut up. Yeah, Kobe does skate. The Lakers of that era does skate, and that was probably the best chance that the league ever had of ever having a Kobe LeBron final.
Yeah, like everybody just knew it was gonna happen, and I was just like, dude, like, how do we just bypass that? OKC was still young or whatever, so you kind of give them a pass. But I'm
But
like,
OKC was young with three future MVPs. That's insane. That's insane.
but I'm
That's
just like,
absolutely
dude, like
bananas.
we pick and choose which parts of history we want to keep as long as it helps our argument. And that's why, going back to what you were saying, if I was a up and coming player, I would immediately crush that, oh, he's the next Jordan narrative. Like, I'm not mad at Ant-Man for saying,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to be the next this or that. I'm
Yeah,
me.
because last year in the playoffs, oh my God, this dude is the next Michael Jordan. He does this. He has a smile of Magic Johnson. He can go up his aura, his bravado, his braggadocious, and everything like that. Then as soon as he didn't play well in the West Conference Finals, oh, this dude is trash. Throw him out. He ain't the next. I can't believe they called him the next Jordan. Not my king, not Jordan. He wouldn't go out like that,
It's
dog.
crazy, dude.
The
It's
man, this was, and that was the thing. That was their first real playoff run as a team, and y'all want to crush them like this? Yeah.
it's
Why would I want to be that? Let me come out here and hoop and go back home and live a peaceful life.
that's it. That's why I'm like, in any facet of life, whether step away from sports, I would not want to be compared to the next person in anything that I do. Let me be great for what I'm doing. I'm
Correct.
trying to build my own names. Let somebody later on in history recognize, oh, that Adrian's the first person to do this, this, and this, and this. I don't want to be a carbon copy of somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
that
It's like
that logic to me is so stupid.
I used to get mad at my mother for this. She'd be like, "Oh, your father didn't do that." Well, I don't want to be my father. Let me be me. Let me grow into my own.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, bro, this is where I am right now in life. I hate watching a team that I have loved for so long catch fire and burn the way they are, but it must be done because I will not find peace until those people are gone. And that's Jason Kidd, one of my all-time favorites as well. Michael Finley can go too. Yeah, the man took Luka's beard, championship beard. Let the man relax.
That's it. I think that
Yeah,
was a
you can
turning
go
point
to with
too.
Nico. Until those people are gone, I'm out of the Mavericks. I'm out. I'm out. AD, I hate this happened to you. Don't come back. Klay Thompson, I hope you get traded because they did you terrible. And tell your agent in off season, get you out. All right.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't ask out. Like, he understands that he's towards the end of that road, and he can still contribute to a contending team.
Yes.
And right now, it's like, dude, you just letting that. This is a year wasted, basically.
Wasted. Wasted. He'll never get back. Yeah, you'll get, what is it, 17, $18 million, but like you could have got that. You could have got that staying in Golden State. You want to go out here and make a name for yourself, and you were in the process of doing so, and then the rug got put out from under you.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. No peace for Nico. I hope everywhere he goes in the city of Dallas, I hope he's heckled. I don't want no harm to come to him because he's still a family man. He's married with a beautiful wife, black woman. I love it. Um, Great family, great kids, I'm sure. But no, you can't run my franchise anymore, dog. I don't want to see you. Don't put no DoorDash orders under your name. Don't. Nope. 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 Not until you can't set foot in Dallas and have peace again until you and ever, ever.
Well, that's where we're gonna leave it at, man. I'm sure we'll end up revisiting this in a few weeks, especially once these brackets pop out here soon.
Oh, you know I'm ready. You know I'm ready. I just watched what's it called, Florida beat Alabama. So
Like I said, man, I honestly think Duke is gonna. They have a great chance of pulling it out. So we're gonna
we
see how
have,
these.
what is it? I think we are 18-1 in the ACC. which is 18 wins in the ACC, is now the record. We have a chance to go 19-1. I really hate that we lost at Clemson because the fact of the possibility of going 20-0 was something I had always wanted, and it had it been outside of the Zion year, I didn't think it was possible. But this season right here is truly special. John Shires has shown he is truly a great coach, X and O's. They just announced that the one of our assistant coaches is going to go and be the head coach of Miami. So his last game will be this Saturday. And I hate losing him, but it's going to be interesting. Carolina says they're ready for us. They're ready to play tough against us. We gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see.
Anything under 15 is a win for Carolina. I don't see it.
Man, we let them off the hook. We was up 30.
That's what I'm saying. Anything under 15 points, Carolina can celebrate. But good stuff, man. Definitely
Always
appreciate
good talking to you, bro.
For those that have been listening, watching, y'all know the routine, man. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Be sure to like, share, subscribe.
Absolutely.
And we are out.
Yep. Be easy. Stay safe, everybody.
Peace
Go
out.
Lakers.
Ass toasted, no competition. Unleash coasting. I feel so high, I feel so live. My body's in the twine. Unleash coasting. I feel so live, and I know why. That I can't deny. Unleash coasting. Giddy fine wine, fools, malt liquor. Wish me I'm high class.
Yes. Let's check in on the Mavs